In our trader rundown, Joe Cusick of the Cusick Group is here to get our day going. And Joe, good to have you on the show, as I always like to say.
Thank you, Angie.
Let's take a look at the trade right now. What do you see happening here in the market that really is catching your attention as a trader?
Well, overall, what I'm seeing is that volatility is still staying low. So there's not heightened expectation of big moves. It hit up on that 13 and some change level on the VIX, which is the volatility index, and it pulled back. That's point number one. Point number two, or thing number two that I'm seeing is that the broad-based indices, they bounced off of their supports, and they did it very well the last couple of days. They've held up. That is extremely important for the bulls.
Why? Because that means that maybe we bounce higher from here?
That's what it's looking like. I mean, I think with all the stimulus out there, the earnings continue to be upbeat in all sectors. And you're seeing that there could be more global turnarounds, whether it's Europe or Asia. You're hearing positive stories coming out, and that's really important right now. And domestically speaking, you're starting to see that the reports that keep continually coming out, with the job reports, with some of the other reports that we've been seeing economically, here in the U.S., things look very strong. You're actually hearing the beating drum of we're going to raise rates, which that's a positive in terms of things are moving in the right direction.
The economy is shaping up. Yeah. Let's take a look at CocaCola.
Sure.
Some interesting options activity certainly in the market yesterday. Where do you think this stock is going, Joe?
You know, it looks like the way that strategists are positioning, they're looking for upside in Coke. I think for two reasons. One is, while interest rates are still low, even if they do move up a quarter of a point into the end of the year, there are a lot of yield players that are not only going to want capital appreciation with underlyings moving to the upside, but they want that dividend. And Coke pays a decent dividend, and so I think what you're going to see is strategists are going to start to position for upside in Coke.
Briggs is also on your list, Joe.
Yeah. You know, Briggs and Stratton, I grew up in Milwaukee.
Okay.
So this is something
we love Milwaukee. We're in Milwaukee.
Well, I know.
Say hi to your people.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Mom. But Briggs and Stratton actually has come under pressure. They had earnings a couple days ago, and they disappointed a little bit on revenues, but they said it was a real challenge in Europe, which is a big marketplace for them. I think if Europe turns around, Briggs and Stratton could actually be a play that you want to keep an eye on, because if the infrastructure plays start to come into play, if industry starts to pick up over there and in Asia, that could be great for Briggs and Stratton.
Last on your list is Monsanto, and I know we have a lot of farmers who watch the show, so what do you have to tell them?
Well, I think right now we're going to watch Monsanto very closely. The planting season right now, from what I'm hearing, is that the corn yield is going to be the highest ever in history. That is ginormous. And so we want to keep an eye on, once that crop comes down, we're going to start looking at the winter crops. That's an important time for Monsanto. You know, there has been some bullish activity. I want to keep an eye on it, especially if it starts to happen in January. That's a little further out, but I'm seeing some actual October right now. I'm going to look further out, especially again, if volatility is very low and stays low, and it has been in Monsanto specifically, this could be a nice opportunity, especially if there's a little bit of a kick there for Monsanto going into the winter season and then the spring crops.
What would be the target price on Monsanto?
You know what, right now you're looking at probably around the 106 range right now going into October. That's where you see some strategists positioning for a challenge to the upside.
Thank you for the Trader Talk.
You're welcome.